Hello everyone, and welcome to the next stage of my career at Korea. This is of course the Yeongam circuit in Korea, and I'm of course still driving my Force India as you can see there, and it is qualifying. So happy to see the return of in-game audio then. I've actually managed to resolve my issues now, so in-game audio will return from now on. Happy days. It's so nice to hear it again, because I see it back then, that's not quite right. It's very nice anyway. So you can see me there flicking through all the menus. I'll just summarise that as we start the lap. I went to full dry setup and changed my brake settings to be 4753 high pressure. That's the only thing I've tweaked in that setup. And then going to a set of the prime tyres. So I now push as I come out of the penultimate corner and now the final corner. Thinking about DRS but thinking against it. So I run a little bit wide there, went up with grassy tyres, but it's not too bad. So I reckon I can get through quali 1 on prime, so we'll see how that plays out. So braking very late then, probably too late. It was indeed, locked me inside wheel slightly. And unfortunately that's not a great first corner, but it's not horrific either, so I'm still going to pound around this lap and then go for another one at the end of this lap. Hopefully I'll be able to beat, but I always like to go get some sort of lap in just to have a banker, of course, and also so I've got something to compare it against in the next lap. So if the next lap I'm actually down on this lap, even though it's only a fairly average lap, I know I just completely give up on it, but otherwise I've not really got much of a reference, so it's always good to do that. So once again I brake a bit late and run well wide. Look at that, right out wide. Took me a little while to get used to this Force India, having driven my Ferrari online. Took me probably about 10 laps or so, I'd say, just to get fully up to speed. After a couple of laps I was of course putting in reasonable laps, but it did take me about 10 just to get nice and consistent with it. But I'm still struggling, as you can see. But these few laps, I'm sure I'll improve over these few laps. Maybe I'll have a nice clean lap on the next lap, but as I said, still pushing on this lap. So qualifying format then, quali 1, as we're in now. The slowest 7 drivers get knocked out. Then the times get reset and we go into quali 2. And the slowest 7 drivers get knocked out. And the times get reset and we go into quali 3. And then that'll be a top 10 shootout for pole position. So, as I've mentioned previously, I will skip time and skip everything basically that I can in these first 2 sessions because it's not really important. But when we get to quali 3, I won't be skipping any time at all. So I will be making sure that I'm not skipping any. I will just skip the very first bit, the outlap. But that's the only bit I'll skip. Everything else, I'll keep it as is. So who's now on a first proper lap really after that mistake on the first one. That's interesting, there's a lot of traffic there, but it didn't hold me up at all. They stayed well out of the way, which is good for me. Can't complain. So I'm not coming out the exit then. It's looking pretty good. What's it going to be? Should be up on the previous lap, but how much is it going to be up by? It's only up by 600, actually, interestingly, so it's not an amazing first sector, and I'm now 600s down on Maldonado, but it's not too bad. It could be worse, couldn't it? So pushing very hard now in the middle sector to try and hopefully gain that time back and get fastest in the session. As I said, I need to get good lapping because I won't be able to do, there's quite high tyre wear, so I won't be able to do too many laps on these prime tyres, and of course I don't want to be going to the option tyres. The point is to try and save them for later on in qualifying, because I reckon I can get to quali 3 on this track, which I couldn't manage last week in Japan, but I reckon I can do it on this one, but we'll see. So coming towards the end of the second section now then. What's he going to be? 2 tenths up, so I've definitely gained some time, but still a 10th and a half down on Maldonado. But that's not going to stop me from pushing. His DRS is actually in third, look, on the top left, a little bit ahead of me. So, pushing hard once again through the final sector. DRS open all the way around the last corner. Can I do it? I can indeed. So, for the run to line then, what's it going to be? I am up by 2 tenths still, so didn't really gain any time, but that's put me second. 10th and a half down on Maldonado, but can't complain at that. So, as we now skip, go back to the garage, I'll have a look at the gap screen. So let's accelerate through time then. Indeed, staying second, oh, down to the third now. Not too much faster, well, they're quick guys, but as I said, the reason I don't skip the last session is because there is an issue where the AI don't post representative lap times. Unfortunately, when you skip, but they do when you're out on track. So that's why I'd never skipped the last session, so even if we've not got a good indication up to that point, by the time we get to the last session, we get a perfect indication, so I could be to 10th, but it's better than getting pole by effectively cheating. So 4th position then, as the session ends. So my teammate wound up 8th there, so pretty good job from him. Only 3/10 down on the fastest guy, so only about 10th and a half down on me, so it looks pretty close between me and him, but I suspect he's probably on the options, so we'll see how that plays out. As we see some nice shots of this Yeongam circuit. Objective finish 8th there. A little bit more reasonable than my last objective, which I think was finish 2nd when I could get nowhere near that. So unfortunately for those objectives, they don't look at what the car's doing right now, particularly they look at your previous results. So if you had a win in the last race, they'll put your targets up a lot. So for example, if you were to win in Monaco, saying their next track was Monza, which it obviously isn't, but say it is. For Monza, even though it's a completely different circuit, they'd expect you to be, winning or there or thereabouts. Much higher objective than the last race anyway. So coming across then the start finish line as I brake quite late, but whoa, Hamilton gets right in the way, very, very close to taking him out there. That was not good. I made a similar mistake to last lap in that I just braked too late, wound up locking my tyres, but I would have probably been able to recover it like I did last lap, but unfortunately Hamilton was right on the line there and I didn't want to hit him, didn't want to lose my front wing and have to come in and go back out again, so I just kept on the brakes, knew it was going to badly affect my time, but better that than take some damage, so there we go. This will be another warm-up lap then, so I let Maldonado pass that. Opponent's holding him up, I don't need to. Seeing they come around, I'm actually not too far back from him, am I? Interestingly, looks like I'm probably just as quick as him, even though I was taking it easy, so hopefully I should be faster than him in this session. Ooh, he has to go right round. Was it McLaren, looks like, from back here? It is, it's Button in the McLaren. He has to go right on the outside of him, and once again he does the same thing to me, so good job. I am not on a fastest lap, or I wouldn't have been very happy. Looking at the mini-up now, look at that. Half a track, no cars, other than Maldonado in front of me, of course. So, plenty of room. But now I need to back off of Maldonado. Give myself some space between me and him. So still cruising slower than I'd like, as I said, to give myself some room. So right down to 2nd gear. Was in 1st, there we go, I am in 1st gear now. Looking behind me though, because of course I don't want to hold anyone up, so now I'm going. So full throttle from now then, bit of DRS. Went a bit wide, didn't want to be doing that, wasn't great. Can't quite get my DRS open around the final corner, unfortunately. It's got to be a little bit of time, but not much. It's not the end of the world if that doesn't happen. So 7 seconds down on Maldonado then on that first lap, understandably, since I let him pass. So nail the first corner this time, right on the apex. Could have got the power down a little bit earlier though. I usually track with the wheel rather than with the grip. So as in, I had plenty of grip, so I wouldn't have gone that wide, so I just let the wheel out a little bit so I could get better traction. Whereas usually I like to keep the wheel full lock effectively, and I use the grip. So I run out of grip, so it just naturally runs me that wide. So nicely on that next corner then, so it's been a good first sector. So the sector line's just towards the end of the straight, around about here. That was it, 3.5 seconds then, so 4/10 up on Raikkonen as it is actually. Purple, faster than anyone, he's had a 40.1 Raikkonen, so at the moment I'm into the 39s. I think I got a 40.5 in practice, but that was on primes. I think that was rich mixture, but that was on primes. So hopefully I can get into the 49s. Should be coming out as a 40-0. I'm still on for beating him. He's looking good. Ooh, get a bit on the curb there. A little bit of oversteer, but didn't have to correct it. It wasn't too bad. Still pushing hard now then. Hard on the brakes. Down for this very tight right-hander. This Alonso's a 39.3. Not sure I can beat that. But I can probably get close-ish to it. We'll see when we get to the end of the 2nd sector. We'll have a time to Alonso. So, final corner before the end of the sector then. Just about now. So 5.9 seconds up on my previous, but only a 10th down on Alonso, so it's very close. I push hard, I might even be able to beat him. I'm certainly still pushing hard, you can see visually, can't you, that I'm pushing hard. Around the final corner, can I get DRS open all the way? I can, just about. Felt very on the edge there, even just watching it, let alone how I'm driving it. So 4/10 down, so I actually lost 2 or 3 tenths in the final sector then. So it wasn't a great final sector, but that still gives me a 39.7, 7.8. So it's still hopefully enough to get me through. So I'm still pushing now, since these tyres are going to be thrown away anyway, and might as well keep on pushing, since I've got the fuel. See if I can improve on the first sector time. So once again, absolutely nailing that corner. Braking just late enough so that I can get it all slowed down just in time to turn in and get a really nice tight apex. Could have got throttled on a little bit earlier though, and it shows 600s down on previous. So I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep pushing. As I said, might as well, since these tyres are going to be binned anyway. Won't be using these tyres again in the race. I mean, whatever I qualify on quali 3 is the tyres I'll be using. So there's Maldonado, it's going very slow there. It's probably letting me past. Just using DRS once again. It's very scary around those corners. Just snap it shut there. Down to 4th then. So now braking down to tight right-hander again. I nailed that much more, kept much tighter. Then we just touched the curb on the exit. Quite a big curve. You don't want to go too much on that one. So trying to bring it in now to keep to the apexes, which I do just about manage on a little bit wide in that last corner, but not too bad. 3/10 down. So the tyres are gone. You see on the right hand side there, they're starting to wear. So unfortunately, the tyres gave out. It was looking like a pretty good lap, but the tyres just won't give me the grip. But I'm still to 3rd for now, so that should still see me through. And DRS is down in 15th, so he's not been able to put the time in. About a second slower than me or so, just over. Big difference. So now 3rd. Looks to me an awful lot like I'm going to stay there. I am indeed, or there or thereabouts. Going to put me through to the next session anyway. It does indeed. So 3rd place. That's 4.5 tenths then, away from fastest. Not pole, because it's not pole yet, is it, until the next session? Now it's going to be pole, so quali 3 then. See another few shots of this track. It's all about the shootout for pole position. As you see, once again, then my objective is 8th place. I reckon I could manage that if I was 3rd in the last session and 4th in the session before. It's looking good, isn't it? So just double checking I'm on the right tyres then. As I said, the only bit I skip is the out lap, so I've just skipped that since no one could put a lap time in anyway. So there's no harm in me skipping it. So lights count out then for my control, and there it is, got control. So clear track in front of me, look at that, they're all behind me, every single car, so that's good. So let's see what I can do then with this Force India. I reckon it's going to need to be a low 39 to be pole. Not sure I can get another 4/10 out of these, compared to the last session I mean. But we'll see. Ooh, looks like I'm way too late. I did indeed, way too late, look at that, straight off the track. If I recall correctly when I drove this, I think it was only yesterday or the day before, but I've already forgotten what happened, but if I recall correctly, I wasn't paying enough attention basically. By the time I realised I was already on the curb and that was too late. You need to brake just before the curb. And you stop just in time, but I braked just as I got to the curb, which is just a little bit too late. Probably in about 2, 3, maybe 4 metres late. Not a lot, maybe 5 metres, not a lot at all. But makes a difference, big difference. So obviously just taking these in out, no point me carrying on, because I'm not going to be able to set a decent lap time, but I'm still pushing reasonably hard, purely because I want to stay out of the car behind me, stay out in front of the car behind me. You see there's a little group there, I don't want to be letting all those pass, because they'll probably only go and get in my way like Button did in the previous session. And like some cars have done to me before on fast laps. So, still pushing, but not pushing, trying not to push too hard, because of course I'll burn the tyres, but it's a bit difficult to do while trying to stay fast and not push hard. It's a bit of a weird compromise, but I'm sort of managing it. Comes in the second sector, 20.0. Of course, time means nothing because I'm not pushing, but luckily I managed to stay ahead of that Sauber behind me, so that's good. So this will be a proper lap now then. Saving all my curves, you can see there, I've got a full battery that I can use on this final corner. There we go, using the curves, keeping the DRS open half around the corner. Or 3/4 way really. Winded up opening it again, so it's a pretty good final corner, 41.2. We know I can go much faster than that. So braking hard then in the first sector. Pretty much nailing it once again, not quite. Could do not touching the curb. You could do putting the power down a bit earlier. This is Vettel's a 39.617 then, so that's only a 10th up on what I've done in the last session. So that's doable, I reckon. Interestingly, because Alonso, of course, did 39.4, wasn't it? I think in the last session. So it's not as quick as that. So I should think they'll probably better improve their times, but we'll see. So 1.5 seconds up. Purple, fastest of anyone. 2.5 tenths up on Vettel. Wow, okay. So according to that, if I can maintain Vettel's pace for the rest of the lap, I should in theory be on for a 39, was it 39.4? ish. So that's going to be a good lap time. I'll be happy with that, but to be honest, I probably can't maintain the sort of lap times that Red Bull are pulling in the middle sector in this Force India. It's just not as good as the top teams yet, unfortunately. Certainly not even, barely even worthy of being in the top 10, to be honest, in Quali 3, but I always push and try and make it there. So I think the rest has only ever scored 1 point this entire season. And we're on race 16, are we? Somewhere around there. So it shows that this car just hasn't got much pace. So 10th and a half down on Vettel now, so it's going to be very close. It's green now, so not fast as anyone, but still my personal best. That's a little bit wide, but managed to bring it in a little bit tighter. Once again, run a little bit wide. Ooh, absolutely nailed that curve. That's what you want to do. You want to have one wheel on the inside, one wheel on the outside, so it doesn't barely even move the car, which I managed to do. DRS is wide open then for the run to the line. What is it? Can I beat Vettel? No, I can't. 1.77 tenths down on him. 1.4 off my previous lap, so I lost. Just, of course, with the curves on the last lap, but I did lose about a tenth in the final sector compared to my previous lap. So 39.795, so about 200ths or so slower than my previous session. So that's consistency for you, isn't it? I think that pretty much tells you that that's the maximum the car can get, to be honest. If I've just done within a couple of hundredths of my best before, that's now my best. But there we go, 4th place at the moment. And now, of course, I'm on an in-lap. So 2nd down, I'm still pushing reasonably hard. As you can see, the time is counting down, only 4 minutes left, so it's not a lot of time spare. But trying to take it easy just in case these are the tyres that I wind up starting on. Because obviously I don't want to burn them out just by doing an in-lap. So still using DRS because of course it gives you effectively free lap time. But shutting it all through these corners is pointless, trying to open it and risk it. As you can see, visually slower there. Try not to use as much angle on the wheel. Try not to brake so late. Try not to use as much throttle on the exits. But still using DRS as normal pretty much. So I'm shutting it early like that. Not risking it at all. So I'm going to get 1 lap in right at the end then. I'm going to go in, bought on a brand new set of the super soft tyres, and go out for 1 banzai lap. I've got my banker lap in now. It wasn't really a banker, was it? It was still pretty quick, but I've got my banker in. That's given me 4th for now, because it could lose time, or it could lose places rather, if the people beat me, but got a pretty good time in the bag, so nothing left to lose now then.
3 minutes to go.
Just got to push hard. Hopefully try and get pole position. It's within reach. It's only just under 2 tenths I need, so I can do that. If I had a perfect lap, I reckon I could do that. But we'll see. So they wheel me back into the garage now then. And put me up on my jacks. Haven't got a lot of time, they need to be quick. So that's a long tyre there, wasting time. What is it? 2 minutes 26, plenty of time anyway, not too worried. Ooh, very nearly did flying lap then. Nearly skipped some time, that would have ruined my whole principle of not skipping any time in the Quali 3 session. But I did just about hit drive out. So I now have to do an out lap. Warm my tyres, which I don't usually do of course, because I skip. Exactly 2 minutes left, so that should be just about enough time. It's a nice clear track in front of me, look at that. Entire sector. Entire sector of the track, all to myself, so plenty of room, not worried about anyone blocking me. So that means I can concentrate on just warming my tyres rather than distance to the car in front. As you can see on the right hand side there, watching the tyres come up to temperature just as they go from blue to green. They fade slowly between the two. There, slowly getting there. It does take around about a lap, even on this sort of track where you wear the tyres a lot. It still takes a little while to warm the tyres. It's quite a strange thing. As you can see, they're only about halfway warmed up for now. But we're of course only in the first, well, just finished the first sector rather. We're only a third away through the lap, so it should be plenty warm enough by the time we get there. So only a minute left of the session then. So anyone who crosses the line now, that'll be their last flying lap.
1 minute remaining, just 1 minute.
It will be me when I get there. So it's surprisingly tight actually. I didn't realise it was going to be quite this tight. So we're now under a minute. Still half a lap to go, but he's going to get there. But even so, still a bit tighter than I thought. Still plenty gap in front of me there. Look at that. Lovely. So there's a second tech line then. So still swerving, and you see on the right side there, they've gone quite a dark green, which means if anything they're a bit too hot. I'm not going to complain about that, as long as they're not majorly too hot, it's alright. So trying to keep DRS open with Kurz, then it's very, very tricky. Do I manage it? Not quite. Just pushes out wide there, so he understeered, unfortunately. There we go, so crossing line now then.
That's a really strong time. Nice
DRS
lap.
wide open, can I nail the braking for the first corner? Messed it up a few times, I can. That was much more like it, got the power nice and early. Got 2 wheels off the racetrack, but make sure I kept 2 on. For fairness sake, as the timer ticks down there, looks like I might be the very last person to set a lap, as indeed. Timer ticks down to 0, no one crosses the start-finish line, so whoever finishes the lap now, that'll be it for their session. So trying to get it all slowed down at the end of the big straight, which I just about managed to do. I'm pushing hard now, braking later, taking a few more risks. So Kurz fully activated, then DRS wide open. Can I be up first sector? I can't, 10th and a half down. Wow, where's all that time gone? That's amazing. It wasn't a perfect chicane at the end of the long straight, but it wasn't terrible either. But anyway, still a 10th up on pole. But God knows where that time went. That's ridiculous. It looked pretty good to me, but maybe you guys spotted something that I didn't. So DRS open then. Ooh, nearly managed to keep it open all the way through that corner, but it's very tricky. You want to touch the apex just like that. Braking right down then to the apex just about there. DRS is wide open. Keep it open till you touch the brakes. And then use the gears to force the car to turn in. It just wants to understeer straight on, but you shift down and force it to twist into the corner. I'm actually up. 200's up. Still a 10th and a bit down on Vettel. There's a Red Bull in front of me. Hope he doesn't get in my way. But I'm actually up a little bit, so it's looking pretty good. But oh, Webber gets right in my way there. Oh no, he's completely messed my lap up. Completely messed up. I'm still going for it, see if I can improve, but completely got in my way there. If this was real Formula 1, you would call that team orders, wouldn't you? Since Vettel's on pole.
Well,
Look at that.
puts us fourth on the grid.
In fact, they were 1-2. Look.
Great drive.
Oh, well, that was disappointing, wasn't it? Because I was a 10th and a half down, then actually up. So that means I gained almost 2 tenths middle sector. So if I was to maintain that first sector time, that would have been enough for pole. So there was a shot there at least improving my position. I only needed a few tenths to beat Alonso in front of me and be up to 3rd. Oh, but there we go. How disappointing is that? But I seem pretty pleased with it, of course, because I beat my objective. But anyway, there we go then. So the race then will hopefully be next weekend, but might have to delay it a little bit because this week we will of course have the league race, probably on Wednesday. The race will be tonight, Sunday night. And I'm going to upload my F1 2013 form guide effectively, so just introducing you to all the cars, telling you about any little fancy bits they got on them. Although I'm not an aerodynamicist, so I don't expect too much. I'm just giving you a bit of a guide on what I think is going to happen in Australia and what the form's going to be. So look forward to those videos. Look forward to those videos next week. But as I said, might have to delay the race a little bit, but it shouldn't be too long. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.